Charlie and I lived in Odessa, Texas for about 6 months. I absolutely hated it. She absolutely hated it. It was flat, arid, dusty, dry, just a horrible place to live. And I didn't know how bad it was out there. So when we moved out there, I brought my fishing rods as if there was lakes out in West Texas. Anyway, and the water, here's what I was getting at. The water out there, you could not wash your car with. I mean, it would stain your windows on your car. It would ruin your paint. There was nothing you could do. The water tasted, this is Odessa. Maybe it's different in Midland or, somewhere else, but I'm talking about Odessa, the city of Odessa, Texas. And it was just a horrible place to live, and the water was terrible. And, this was back before everybody had bottled water. This is back when you drank water from a tap or a garden hose. So anyway, here in Wascom, Texas, where I live now, the water is just as bad. And I washed my bike at a car wash, and of course it was covered with these spots, even with the rinse water, the RO rinse water, reverse osmosis rinse water. It doesn't do a thing. So I still got, I don't know if you can see this. I have waxed, and the only thing that gets these spots off is steel wool on the chrome, not the paint, on the chrome. And on the paint, you have to use a really mild polishing compound to remove the water spots. Ridiculous. Anyway, I see some that I missed here and some that I missed here. And I didn't even wash the whole bike. I just washed the rims and areas that I can't get my hands into. But what I'm here for today is, okay, this is my brand new tall windshield. And listen, I got to take this back out. And there's a couple nuts on the inside I got to loosen up. I just got to pull this out, pull the windshield out, and put some of this weather stripping so the windshield won't rattle. I hate rattles. I don't know why they bother me so much, but especially when I know what they are and I can stop them, that's when they really bother me. So, going to a funeral today, and I want to get this done before I go to the funeral. And these are speaker covers that are going to go over the speaker pods back here, because I pulled the speakers out. They weren't even connected. When I pulled these speakers out, they weren't even connected. And they were so poorly installed that when I hit a bump, the speakers would fall out. Just, the person who did this was such an amateur. Alrighty, I'm gonna do the speakers first, and then I'll do the windshield. First thing I'm gonna do is take my, what do they call this thing? I forget what they call it. Oscillating, God, I don't know. Anyway, I'm cutting these little nubs off, all of these, both of these, and I'm gonna use this to do it. Okay, got them. I'm just sitting here thinking, well, I gotta knock a little bit more off that, just smooth it out. Just sitting here thinking about, I don't want to use I'll use the letters FEMA, because right now, whenever you say that word, Google is doing their thing, YouTube is doing their thing. The debacle, the chaos that is FEMA right now in North Carolina, Far East Tennessee, and they're causing more problems. They're supposed to respond to disasters, but they are the disaster. And they're doing nefarious things to prevent citizens, regular people, from getting in there and helping and doing what they are not doing. They're lying about the body count. And they just placed an order for 2,000 body bags. Now, if they're saying there's only 200 dead, why would they need 2,000 body bags? And the body bags are to be delivered to that area. And here's a couple other things. Now, this is not hearsay. These are people whose feet are on the ground there, taking video, talking to the people. I'll give you an example. I was going to start out doing this, but let me just talk for a minute, okay? I don't have a political channel, but sometimes when I have this on my mind, I just got to talk about it. There's people that are not being allowed back to their homes. I'll give you an example, and I watched the video of this actual person who was being denied a return to his home. And it was a sheriff's deputy that said, look, I don't have the answers, but I'm not supposed to let anybody go back to their homes. And he said, I left my home, which is perfectly safe and intact, with my family to come get water. I have to bring the water to my family. Hold on, I'm going to cough. Sorry. And the cop is telling him, you're not going to, we'll have to arrest you if you try to go back to your home. And the guy's saying, you can't be serious. I have water. They need water. My family needs water to survive. And the cop just said, I'm just doing my job, That's all I'm doing is my job. I don't have any answers. I just blindly follow rules, whether they're hurting people or not. And that's not all. There was an airport near where helicopters were flying in and out of this airport to bring supplies to the people that FEMA was not bringing supplies to, the people that were desperately in need of things. And FEMA was not going there because it was too dangerous, much like, good Lord, Secret Service. Much like the Secret Service couldn't get on that roof where the sniper was because it was too steep. FEMA is not going to areas where people most need their assistance because it's too dangerous. So people are going in with packs of mules and four-wheelers and side-by-sides and helicopters and bringing people out who need to come out, or bringing them supplies who are staying. And FEMA, sorry, there you go. They are doing their absolute best to prevent other people from helping. Why is that? Well, the airport that these helicopters were flying out of, FEMA went and closed that airport. They parked things on the runway. So they went to another airport in South Carolina, and people started bringing donations, supplies, water, paper towels, the things that people in a disaster, diapers, insulin. They're preventing people from bringing insulin in to diabetics. And again, I'm not one of those that just listen to some. I'm watching people who are on the ground filming this happening. You can't lie about what your eyes are seeing. You can't argue about what these people are. You can't go in there. We're not going to allow you in there. We'll have you arrested if you try to save lives. You can't argue with that. Boots on the ground, people doing videos saying, hey, this is what's happening. Here's the proof. So they found another airport in South Carolina and started using that. And what happened? FEMA came and parked a bunch of airplanes on that runway where they couldn't use it. What is going on? And how about this? This could be just an accident, but there was and Grindstone Ministries confirmed this. They had boots on the ground, and they're still there. And a helicopter came over this area where they had these, them canopies that you set up at carnivals and fairs and flea markets and stuff like that. Well, they had these canopies set up, and people were bringing their donations, and they're storing them under these canopies, and the helicopters were bringing these to the people. Well, a government helicopter came and hovered over all these donations, and the wash from the helicopters blew all this stuff away, this is on mainstream media. Pictures, video, it happened. And you just got to ask yourself, why are they putting so much effort into preventing people from helping when they could be putting that effort into helping people? Why? What is their motivation? I don't get it. All right, back to motorcycle stuff. And my fingernails are ugly. They've been ugly my whole life. All right, got those covered up, those gaping holes covered up. These where the speakers were, the big speakers. Those are covered up from the factory. Got them gigantic subwoofers and tweeters out of there. Got that huge amp that was back here out of there. Got 16 miles of wire pulled out of there that was useless. All right. This was the last one we went to. Man spent a lot of time in the military. All right, I'm going to check where these are the flashlights that I shipped, and this one to Canada. I'm not going to check that yet, but I'm going to check these, see how far along they are. I wonder if this weather is affecting them. All right, next I'm going to pull the screws. There's a couple of, let's see, right here. Where is it? Right here. Screw here, screw on the other. Three across the top. That'll give me enough room to pull it away and put some foam in there. I had to do this on my last motorcycle for the very same reason. The foam that comes with it from the factory just wears out. This is 13, almost 14-year-old motorcycle now. So, you know, stuff wears out. Okay, true story time. Charlie and I were going down an on-ramp, you know, get off the interstate, down an off-ramp, not on-ramp, and up to the main highway. And this bus swings wide and turns, loaded bus, commercial bus like Greyhound, turns onto the off-ramp of the interstate. And I pull up and I wave my arms and I block him. And the guy, the driver, is pissed at me for not letting him by. I get out, I go over to his door, and he won't open it. I knock on his door. He opens the door ever so slowly. I said, do you know that you're going on an off-ramp? You're fixing to be head on the interstate? Do you realize that? And he went from mad to embarrassed, and I look at all the faces on this bus, and they're absolutely shocked that this dummy almost got them all killed. And he was mad at me to begin with. That's what's funny about it. He was pissed. He was ready to fight until I said, look what you're doing, man. I saved 60 or 30 people, whatever, it's on a bus. So what he wanted was the service road that was kind of north of the off-ramp. He wanted to go down the service road to a motel. And he thought the off-ramp to the interstate was a service road. These are the kind of people, you know, what they say, 70% of the American population is really stupid. And I just thank God that I'm part of the other 45%. All right, my. So, yeah, it's gonna show a little bit. But I got some on the windshield and some on the back of this. And right now, I'm gonna clean this up behind there. And then I'm gonna clean that little chrome piece up. And then I'll put it all back together. We'll be back. Okay, I thought this was chrome. So I hit it with some steel wool to get all the bugs off it. And you know what? It's not chrome. It's stainless. So I'm gonna go in there to my buffing room, my dangerous buffing room, and see if I can't get the buffer to snatch this out of my hands and throw it through the window. Let's go see. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the buffers of death. So far, no death. But you can definitely see where shiny starts and dull begins. All right, I'm gonna let that end cool down a little bit, and then I'm gonna switch it around and pump the other end. So far, there's been no murder. Well, I still have all my fingers, both eyes, and I've discovered another problem. I'm telling you, when you buy something that somebody else has worked on, look at this. This insert has pulled out of there. That's what the rattle was. This wasn't able to tighten down, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know, it's an old bike, and I may just drill all the way through this and put a nut and a bolt. As small as I can get away with, but I want this to be tight with no rattles, and I don't want rain and everything to fall down in there. So I could probably epoxy that thing back in, but I'd have to take the fairing off again, and I don't want to. I just want to ride. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, it's not pretty, but it's functional. I hate doing that, but don't forget, this is 13 years old. This is not a trailer queen. I ride this, and I'm more concerned about it being safe and functional than I am pretty. Now, don't get me wrong, I like shiny and I like chrome and I like to wax and polish. But more than that, I like a dependable vehicle, and I could have fixed that right, but I don't have time. I have a funeral today, a funeral Thursday, and a funeral Friday. So, you know, I got to ride it. I don't have time to take it all apart and epoxy that sleeve back in there and then wait 24 hours for it to cure and then tighten it down and hope it's strong enough to keep the windshield from flexing. Alrighty, I'm going to bring my bike up to the house and start getting dressed. I got to be there about 1 o'clock over in cemetery in Marshall.